Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online Series 9 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're using a team featuring Alolan Marowak. Now, I know we actually just used the team with this Pokemon a couple of days ago, but on the Assault Vest offensive Celesteela team, Marowak didn't really get to shine too much, but it is definitely one of the primary stars of this team. So, this team was built by a player called Juan Ma, who was actually able to get to number 1 on both the in-game and the Showdown ladder with this very exact team. I've linked his Twitter down in the description below, so huge thank you to him for the team. There's obviously a rental on the screen as well as in the description below, and a paste courtesy of him as well. So, this is a, relatively standard team. There isn't anything too wild, right? Most of these sets are nothing kind of out of the ordinary, but Marowak really is one of the primary stars, as I mentioned. And Marowak's a really interesting Pokemon in the format, right? It's actually able to get such good coverage between fire, ghost, and ground type attacks, and if you Dynamax this thing, it really can just one-shot so many things, especially in the late game. This team is rather bulky as well, right? You've got the Intimidate from Landorus, you've got the Screens like Clay from Grimmsnarl, you've got the Eerie Impulse from Porygon too. And so, if you can stall out your opponent's early game and max Marowak in the late game, Marowak can provide so much value, but you can obviously accelerate the game pretty quickly as well via Swords Dance on Landorus or a Calm Mind on Tapu. So, like I mentioned, the sets here aren't anything out of the ordinary, but Marowak definitely is a little bit underused right now in the format and in the metagame, and we didn't see it too much in Series 7 either, but it can just do so much damage across the board. Especially because, if you max it, you also set up the sun, right? And then so your future max flares and flare blitzes do even more damage. If you think about, popular Pokemon in the format right now, Regigigas, for example, a lot of steel types, Pokemon like Metagross or Kartana or Celesteela, well, Marowak actually matches up really, really well into those steel types. And it feels like there aren't that many super reliable fire type Pokemon that can also just like one-shot these bulky steel type Pokemon. So Marowak is definitely one of them. Either way, I'm really excited to try it out. Marowak obviously it's Alolan Marowak, so question of the day, I want to know what Pokemon you think should get an alternate form and what typing you would give it. I'd love to see Scizor get some more love. I don't know what type I would make it. Something like water, I think, could be really interesting, although water bug already exists in Araquanid. But I'm a big Scizor fan, and I feel like it's been, not as strong as it used to be back in the day, just given Dynamax and how things have evolved. So yeah, seeing it, like giving it another ability and just giving it an alternate form, I think would be really cool. So thanks so much as always for watching. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks to Juan Ma for the team. Check him out, linked in the description below, with that rental and a paste courtesy of him as well. And let's get started. All right, getting into our first match of the day. Oh boy, that's a Sneasel. Okay. So, the first thing to watch out for is beat up, because Sneasel, if you see Sneasel, I mean, you should expect fake out beat up, right? Huh. Okay. I mean, we have screens on Grimmsnarl. Like, if we can get Trick Room up, Marowak should just absolutely demolish. But, like, I can't guarantee Trick Room, right? Because if I just go Grimmsnarl plus Porygon, and they go Sneasel plus Terrakion, you could just fake out close combat turn 1. So, like, Sneasel's actually a really big issue for us here. And I think it has Inner Focus, right? So I can't flinch it with fake out if I remember correctly. If I'm expecting Sneasel Terrakion lead, I kind of want to go like Grim Porygon, bait out close combat, hard switch into Landorus, and then Marowak in the back. I also could just go Kartana, right? But Kartana's so weak into Incineroar and Zapdos, so I'll try this out. If they don't lead something that actually applies enough pressure to us on turn 1 and we get Trick Room up, it should be a pretty clean game for Marowak. So that's what I'm thinking here. But very, very cool team by my opponent. The Sneasel itself is already interesting, but then you also have Lele. So it's definitely rather fast-paced and, hyper offensive, I would say. So, yeah. We don't see Sneasel very much, right? Not exactly the most common Pokemon, but we had actually used it on Road to Ranked around a year ago, if you all remember. And it is going to be Sneasel Terrakion. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, like, here, if you're my opponent, you have to deny the Trick Room, right? Oh, I could even Spirit Break. That'd be so interesting. Wait, how much? Do we have any attack investment on this Grimmsnarl? There's only 4 attack EVs, so nah. I just think Spirit Break's really interesting because then you might not even want to max Terrakion the next turn. You'd probably just go for a Rock Slide. Like, if I'm my opponent here, I guess you could also just, like, fake out Rock Slide, beat up Close Combat into Porygon. Like, I'm thinking... Okay, actually, hold up. Because they could get this thing to +6. You know what? I actually am going to just Spirit Break Terrakion turn 1, switch Porygon out into Landorus. Maybe I could have just led Landorus or Kartana, honestly, because Sneasel plus Terrakion seemed like such a likely lead. Like, Kartana lead would have been really nice for us here. But I don't know how good it would have been exactly, honestly. Yeah, did have Inner Focus, which isn't a surprise. I mean, that's one of the main reasons you want to use Sneasel in the first place. Let's see if they max. Yep, they don't max. They just go for beat up. And they, yeah. I'm hoping it's just beat up Close Combat into the Porygon slot. Like, that would make the most sense, right? Rock Slide would be so risky here. They actually do, like, a sizable amount of damage to their own Terrakion, too. And I'm just wondering, like, after the beat-up chip and after the defense drop, like, Grimmsnarl's attack stats actually pretty solid. And they did do, like, you know, 10-15% of chip to themselves. Let's see. Yep, there's Close Combat. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that played out exactly how I wanted it to. That is still enough for a KO, though. Oh, my gosh. Holy cow. Is it Life Orb Terrakion? Because I didn't think that would KO at +3 without a Life Orb. Yeah, there we go. Maybe I should have maxed Grimmsnarl turn 1. Oh, that's enough for a KO. Nice, okay. Ooh, that was a crit. Okay, you know what? I want to do that calc right now because I have no idea whether or not that was actually going to KO. And obviously, if the crit mattered, that was such a big deal. Grimmsnarl onto Terrakion, Spirit Break. 4 attack. They are at okay, first wait, let's bring something out. Obviously that was a good turn for us, right? I think we bring Porygon back down. Now we just try to set up screens and set up Marowak. Yeah, okay. I'm Spirit Break against, if you have no bulk, is a guaranteed KO from Grimmsnarl. Yeah, it does 98 to 116%, so I don't think that crit mattered. I mean, what does Sneasel do now? Does it have Taunt? I feel like it might. It's Psychic Seed on Lele. Okay, I mean, we just light screen right now for sure. I just wonder if I want to read into the potential... I mean, Lele maxing is actually quite scary. They only have special damage at this point, though, so yeah. That's why it was critical, by the way, turn 1, to just go for Spirit Break rather than Reflect. Like, Reflect wouldn't have gotten us anywhere, right? And the whole point of the lead was to bait out the Close Combat, so that played out exactly how I wanted it to. And I don't think Terrakions in this case are going to be that bulky, and even if they have, like, you would need a lot of bulk, right? Because they had already taken basically 20% damage. So, yeah. Either way, it's light screen here. I feel like Sneasel should have Taunt here in this position. But how much do I lose if I don't go for... I'm just going to Trick Room here, because if they, like... I think it's... Like, if it doesn't have Taunt, they're in really bad shape. Because I think we should just win the game off that. But I think one of these will have it. Okay, it's Triple Axel coming out. Taunt on Lele here would make a lot of sense. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Figured that was the case. They only got one hit off Triple Axel, which is kind of fortunate, but that's fine. I wasn't gonna get that much value from attacking here anyway. Now, the thing is, like, who do you even max to beat Marowak at this point? Because Marowak's looking really, really strong. So I think I'm just going to Spirit Break Lele. Yeah, I'm down to Spirit Break Lele. Try attack the Sneasel here. Split our damage. Should be Sash Sneasel. Could be Focus Sash as well. Yeah, they're not going to max. Wonder if Moonblast KOs. Triple Axel is actually really strong here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was a crit, but, you know, if they hit the initial one, they'd pretty much be in the same spot. There's Dazzling. I guess I could have gotten value from Tri Attack. If I doubled up onto, like, Sneasel last turn, things could have been pretty interesting. I mean, it's still fine. Like, yeah, Tri Attack's a 2-hit KO. Ooh, we actually get a burn, which is kind of fortunate. Because that means now you're really not doing damage with that thing. But, like, regardless, I just don't really see how my opponent beats Marowak, right? Terrakion was the one thing we needed to eliminate, because that was the best answer my opponent had into us. So even though, like, we don't have Trick Room up right now, it doesn't even feel that bad. It's also the last turn of Taunt, and we have 6 turns of Light Screen to work with. Their only switch-in into us right now is Incineroar. Will they have Incin in the back? I don't know. Either way, we max Marowak here. I think it's fine to just go for Phantasm, because it gets a defense drop onto anything coming in, and I don't know. I'd be kind of surprised to see Incin as my opponent's last Pokemon. I could Quake into that slot. Okay, wait, you know what? Quake actually isn't a terrible idea. Because it also gives me a special defense boost. So, yeah, I'm down to Quake and try attack this turn. Let's see if they switch. Okay, they don't switch. They don't max Lele either. That's interesting. Because, like, given that their team is so heavily distributed towards physical damage, or sorry, special damage, like, that's why I wanted to eliminate the Terrakion. Because it's like, now we have, you know, Marowak under screens, or light screen in Trick Room. Not in Trick Room yet, but, yeah. Sneasel revealed, triple Axel, should have Fake Out, beat up. I don't know what the last attack is. Oh, there it is. Throw Chop. Yeah, I mean, it's probably just max attack, max speed, right? And Psychic. Does an okay amount of damage, but definitely not enough. I mean, the burn on Sneasel was definitely fortunate. Like, but I don't even think, even if, like, they weren't burnt, I don't think, like, a Throw Chop into a max Psychic would have KO'd Marowak anyway, so, yeah. We actually don't knock out Lele there. So, like, I could have just won the game with the Phantasm, but Quake gives me a special defense boost. Oh, their last one probably is Incineroar. But they're going to max Incineroar against us, aren't they? That would make the most sense right now. Oh, no, it's Zapdos. Okay, nice. That puts us in a really good spot, I think. Because, like, your Zapdos, even if you go max Airstream, max Psychic into Marowak, that's not enough for a KO. Sorry, max Airstream and Psychic into Marowak. You have to Airstream here. I mean, taunt from... I don't know, if you're my... Like, I want to just max guard Marowak here and just try attack Lele. I guess I still risk the crit. It's just if I'm my opponent here, I'm doubling up onto Marowak. But since we have this special defense boost, like, I think we're probably fine to just go Phantasm into Zapdos. Try attack into Lele. That's really why I wanted to get that special defense boost last turn. Although that was actually, I guess, risky, because theoretically my opponent could have switched the Lele out into Zapdos. But that's, like, such a risky switch, right? Yeah, so Zapdos is going to max. If I just went Phantasm or Flare last turn into Lele, we would have won the game, but I wanted to cover for the potential Incineroar switch out option, because I thought that actually would make a lot of sense if they had it, and then you max Lele in the endgame after stalling out Marowak's max. Okay, either way, here's max Airstream. Yeah, that does no damage with the special defense boost. Nice. I do think it's probably a double up into Marowak here, so, like, my opponent has 2 opportunities to basically get a critical hit. Oh, they just went for taunt again. Okay, perfect. Nice. Yeah, I mean, turn 1 was, like, the game-winning turn for us in this game, honestly. Like, as soon as Terrakion goes down, Marowak was in a really, really prime position. So, I led very specifically with the game plan in mind, right, to bait out the attack onto us on turn 1 and just retaliate KO with Spirit Break. Yeah, so unless... Actually, I want to do the calc, even if you're, like, max HP, max defense Terrakion, how much Spirit Break does. But Terrakions are almost always max attack, max speed, maybe some HP investment, but, yeah. Either way, last turn of... Okay, we're taunted. I mean, another Phantasm will KO. The only argument to make is whether or not it actually makes sense to max guard here, but I don't think so. Like, even if they crit here, Porygon's still getting tri-attacks off. So they need to get multiple crits off to win right now, I think. Oh, they actually max guard, okay. I think that doesn't work for them, because now I can just protect Marowak, right? Oh, I guess you could still crit the Porygon. Like, even regular Marowak right now, I think, survives a max Airstream, but I don't mind protecting, because Porygon's always going to win this endgame against Zapdos, right? And it's already the last turn of Taunt here. So, like, it's very safe to just go for Detect and try attack this turn. We have the numbers advantage. There's no need to rush things here. And I don't know if Marowak gets one shot by max Airstream. I don't think it does. Let's see who they targeted here. Yeah, 74 down to 59, so that did what, 15? So it would have done 60. So yeah, we would have survived, but that also just covers for a potential crit, right? Like, we already know Porygon's going to win against Zapdos. We actually get a freeze as well. It's definitely been a lucky game for us, but I think even without the crit, freeze, and the burn, like, I think we still have this game. Like, this just... I mean, even if we didn't freeze there, right? Like, Zapdos can't pick up double KO anyway. But definitely have to acknowledge good fortune, because even if it, like, doesn't actually impact... like, even if it doesn't actually make an impact on, like, how the game plays out, or I should say, even if it doesn't, like, it didn't matter on a given turn, sometimes, like, the tilt factor is real, right? Like, like, sometimes players just get frustrated because, like, nothing's going their way, basically. They did have Roost, so that would have been pretty interesting, actually, but regardless, if you see, like, we would have, they would have had to hit a Hurricane against Marowak and crit even without the freeze, right? And it was in KO range from Tri-Attack, and that had a defense drop. Really cool team here, though, and I definitely got a little bit lucky. Yep, Life Orb. Yeah, it was max attack, max speed, so Spirit Break's always a guaranteed KO onto this at -1 defense, so yeah, the turn 1 game plan worked out. Conberry, Tornadus, Figgy, Incineroar, and then Psychic Seed, Lele. Ooh, with the tricky moveset there. So, yeah. That was definitely a really cool team, honestly, and this could have played out so differently, right? Because, like, I honestly, Life Orb Terrakion with the beat-up combo just demolishes us. I was, like, really nervous about my opponent maxing Terrakion on turn 1, but then with Max Knuckle, I don't know if you KO. The other calc I'm curious about is, I honestly didn't expect it to one-shot Landorus, if I'm to be honest. So, close combat, they are at +3 attack, right? And they had Life Orb. Oh my gosh, that is a guaranteed KO with the Life Orb. Wait, we have 76 HP, but I don't think that moves the needle very much. Yeah, it's still a guaranteed KO. Wow. Life Orb Terrakion is so strong. Oh my goodness. Yeah, if they max turn 1, things could have gotten real dicey real quick, right? Because, let's see, Max Knuckle still does 82 to 97%. Honestly, like, did they need to, because they could have maybe, yeah, like, I was thinking, like, they could have just maxed turn 1, and that would have been really bad for us, because +3 Max Knuckle, given that your Life Orb is still a KO onto Porygon, according to this calc. So, I think it would have been better for them to just max, because, like, by not maxing Terrakion on turn 1, they didn't have a super strong offense later on, right? Like, their max options were limited to Lele, Zapdos, and that was basically it. Although Sneasel actually did a surprisingly good amount of damage. But this is telling me +3 Life Orb Max Knuckle into max HP, max defense Porygon 2 is a guaranteed one-shot. So for my opponent's shoes, I think if they had max turn 1 with Terrakion, even, if I was switching to Landorus, like, it doesn't cover for it, right? You still do so much damage into Lando, and then Spirit Break does very little in return. And I feel like that would have accelerated the game way too quickly, and I can't really come back from that. So I'm fortunate that in the end they ended up going for the close combat, which I was expecting. But yeah, I mean, Max Knuckle from Terrakion is just so powerful when you add the Life Orb to the mix. And I didn't think it would be a guaranteed KO into Porygon too. So yeah, we're fortunate that our opponent ended up going for that close combat instead. But that could have played out very, very differently if Terrakion just maxed on turn 1. So yeah, either way, that's definitely one of the coolest teams we've run into in a while. And I definitely had a fair share of RNG in that game. All right, next game of the day, and we're actually going up against Casti, who I think I played a couple months ago. He's really one of the best players in the world. He's from Spain, top 8 at Worlds in 2012, and he's using Weezing Gigas Coalossal stuff. Okay. Coalossal. Gigas is really scary for sure. So you probably have Max Quake. We can't really reflect easily with Grimmsnarl. I mean, I could just go Grim Porygon theoretically and just fake out the Weezing turn 1, because that's normally going to be the taunt user, and then just Trick Room with Porygon. Because Marowak is amazing here under Trick Room, right? So, I think I might be content with that. Unless Regigigas one-shots Porygon 2 with Max Strike, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So, we go Grim, Porygon, Marowak. And then in the back, probably Tapu Fini. Yeah, this gives me a better Coalossal answer as well, so, alright, let's try this out. Yeah, the idea here is to try to use Marowak under Trick Room as effectively as possible, but, I mean, right, Coalossal Pult, Gigas Weezing, these are both really, really strong combinations. Casti's also a really good player, right, so it's like, regular player piloting this might just go like autopilot, for example, but Casti's creative enough to figure out like good solutions here. It is just Weezing Gigas, which I was hoping to see though. So I think here's where we just use Fake Out, right? It's not exactly like super common on Grimmsnarls these days, right? A lot of players like to drop it, but the Fake Out denies a taunt on Weezing. So as long as we don't get one shot on Porygon, I should get Trick Room up, and if Trick Room goes up, we're in pretty good shape, I would say. So yeah, I'm just gonna Fake Out Weezing and Trick Room turn 1. I mean, they're probably just going to go Max Strike, Grimmsnarl, Taunt into Porygon, right? But then I guess the problem is, hey, I bring in the Marowak turn 2, but then Weezing probably protects, so it's like, do I Max Guard to expect the Protect, and then Flare at the subsequent turn? Maybe that is the play. Either way, getting Trick Room to start is good for us, right? That's a solid start. Not a slow start. Okay, so we get Fake Out off. Good. Ideally, they target Porygon here with Strike. Oh, wow. Max Steel Spike Regigigas. You don't see that often, but that's a problem. Assuming it's Shuka Berry on Weezing, too. Because I can't KO it now. Oh, man. That is an issue. I haven't seen Max Steel Spike Gigas turn 1 before, so I thought this was like a foolproof game plan. It's not so foolproof anymore. It's still far from over, right? Like, it's not like the end of the world, but like, I played so specifically into like this one specific game plan, and now what do we do? Does +1 Max Flare or Phantasm KO plus Tri Attack? Do I bring Feeny or Marowak out? Steel Spike actually is such a game changer here. Okay, let's see. Weezing protecting here is super obvious, right? Like, I want to go max guard here. Try attack into Weezing to put it in KO range the next turn. Could also try attack Gigas here. I mean, we should survive a Max Quake from Gigas, so maybe we just attack anyway. But if they actually launch Max Quake into Marowak, and they protect Weezing, that's really good for us, I would say. Steel Spike changes everything, yeah. Because my plan was to just come out with Marowak and then one-shot Weezing. So maybe they don't even protect here now because they have the defense boost. That's a really cool attack. Like, the thing with Regigigas is you obviously want Giga Impact, but you can run any combination of, like, Ice Punch, High Horsepower, Fire Punch, Darkest Lariat. I actually don't know what Steel-type attack it even gets. So I'm hoping to bait out Max Quake here. Yeah, there's Protect. So I can double up onto Weezing next turn, but even then, I don't know if we KO. I should have gone Tri-Attack on the Gigas if I was expecting Protect on Weezing this turn, I think. Yeah, they did Quake into us here, though, at least, which is good. Now the decision is, do I just go for, like, Max Flare? Because they could be, like, a bulky berry instead of Shuka Berry. And I would think with the defense boost, we wouldn't be able to KO with Max Flare. Or, sorry, with Max Quake. But then the thing is, maybe Flare into Tri-Attack still enough to KO Weezing. It's gonna be tilting if they actually have the berry here. But I'm gonna double up on a Weezing with Flare and try attack instead. This is why the defense boost was such a game changer, though. So that was a really, really smart game plan. Try attack's not gonna finish it off. If I see a bulky berry here, I'm gonna be so sad because we could have just gone Quake. But I'm pretty sure it's Shuka here. All right. Well, we got try attack off. Oh, that's a game-changing crit. I don't think that KOs otherwise. Yeah, that was really, really, really lucky. Like, I mean, that completely changes how this game might play out. Because it just activated slow start, right? I don't think we were KOing there anyway. So we had 2 chances to crit, basically. And, I mean, the odds are really, really slim there. So the main thing here was not expecting Steel Spike. Now, granted, we would have survived with Marowak anyway. But, you know, this just becomes a completely different game if I don't get that crit. Because, yeah, I assume that would have not knocked out otherwise. Yeah, so that was just a really lucky turn on our end. Really not much more to say about it. Because the thing with Gigas is you really want all 3 turns of damage off really, really strong. So, like, it just feels bad because I can't think of a better game plan because I just didn't expect Steel Spike. Steel Spike was such a nice game changer, honestly. Oh, it's Water Urshifu as well, which bodes well for us. And we got a special attack boost on Porygon, which is nice. I'm down here to just go for Phantasm onto Urshifu and try attack it. Yeah, because Gigas is irrelevant at this point, given that we got rid of Weezing. It probably protects Urshifu. Yeah, makes sense. But I don't want to give my opponent a free switch in right now, right? So, like, I'm fine just going for a Phantasm, get a defense drop, and then I think Tri Attack might just KO this thing next turn. Yeah, either way, that was a really, really lucky crit. Like, this is a complete contrast to the last game, right? The last game, like, that crit onto... It didn't make, like, too much of a difference, but here it's moves the needle a lot. You know, I wonder if Aqua Jet KOs Marowak, actually. I didn't think about that. In Sun, I wouldn't think so, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I guess I could just switch Marowak out into Feeny, actually, right? It's not like I have any boosts on this thing that I really need to conserve. Although Rillaboom should be my opponent's last one. There's no way Aqua Jet KOs this thing right now, I don't think. It's like, I just want to Shadow Bone into Urshifu. And try attack into... I'm down to double up into it. Although they could go for a double. Actually, that's a little bit greedy. Oh. This works out really well for us, though, honestly. Assuming Rillaboom faints, it might survive. It probably does, actually, if you're AV. That's a really good switch. That's a really, really good switch. Because you need to conserve Urshifu to close combat me to deny me a potential... Okay, they go for high horsepower, yeah. Does this KO? I don't think so, right? Oh, it does! Oh, wow. That was a really, really fantastic play. If Tri-Attack KOs here, Feeny should win the game, but I think this is going to be Assault Vest Rillaboom, so I think it'll survive. No, it does KO. Okay, nice. Feeny should close it out for us then here. Although Gigas is getting to a point where maybe it actually slow start stops. That's really scary. Yeah, I maybe should have dealt with Gigas a little bit quicker. Like, I could have just max flared, right? The turn Urshifu protected was fairly obvious. So I probably should have launched an attack into Gigas in that slot. Okay. Also one special defense, which is actually kind of scary. Now, Porygon's faster than Regigigas in this position. Do you double up on a Porygon here? I could also see Urshifu protecting as you Giga Impact like Tapu Fini. Because what I want to do is just Moonblast Urshifu, and I could recover here if I'm expecting them to double up onto Porygon. Okay, I'm down to recover, because I think you might want to cover for Trick Room. Yeah, okay, nice. I think this should win us the game. Because we're faster than Porygon, or sorry, than Regigigas right now. But the thing is, like, Gigas' slow start is, like, almost done, right? Which is really, really scary. And if I don't get the crit in this game, I think he should win this match. But I don't know, it wasn't, like, a definitive game over, but it was such a big crit, right? And that's why, like, move choice was really smart here. Because they had Steel Spike, even in my best option, it still wasn't, like, 100% probable play. Alright, there's Giga Impact as well. Into Porygon, yep. Nice, okay, and we survived that, perfect. It's about to get its act together, though. Like, that's a scary thing. And it does have a special defense boost as well. Okay, I'm just gonna Moonblast into Gigas here and recover. Yeah. Gigas can still win this, which is wild. Because I left it on the field for so many turns. But that's good damage from Moonblast. I'm pretty happy about that. Maybe I should have just gone Tri-Attack instead. But the thing is, once Gigas gets its act together, I can just go Protect and... Wait, given that it was a recharge turn, did it ever make sense to go for any other play? Like, now its act is together, but we can just Protect Trick Room. Actually, do we Protect here? I think it's right. Hold on. Let's actually not throw this endgame. Because if we Protect... Like, I have a special attack boost on this, right? And I get double Tri-Attack in this thing, and it's going to take Life Orb damage. Yeah, so I actually think in this position, it's correct to just go for Moonblast into Regigigas and Trick Room here. Because you can't KO unless you go for Giga Impact, right? So at best, you knock out one Pokemon. And I would target Porygon in this position in his shoes. Yep. Nice, and Porygon hangs on. Okay. I just wanted to, like, I think we could lose the game there if I protected with Feeny and then they crit into the Porygon. So this was a really close game, but the Tri-Attack crit on Weezing was a really big game changer. You can see how my plan would have worked out if they didn't have Steel Spike, because then Flare Tri-Attack should be a KO onto the Weezing. But I don't feel like I played significantly better here, and we just got lucky. Like, because I think the matchup is in his favor with Weezing Gigas. Like, we don't have great Weezing Gigas answers. So yeah, definitely very, very lucky game from our end here. And yeah, I mean, so the question is, okay, now we know they have Steel Spike. If I were to play again, like, how would I have approached this any differently? Because I do Fake Out Taunt, like, Fake Out Trick Room always gets us Trick Room up. Can I bring better Pokemon? I don't know about that. Like Lando? No. Cortana? No. Turn 2. I mean, I guess theoretically turn 2 I could have just attacked into the Weezing slot with the Max Flare. And then another one KOs. I'm just thinking, like, let's say the first 2 turns play out, or first 3 turns play out the way they did, and you just, like, the crit doesn't happen, right? We'll survive Max Quake on Marowak, and, like, Feeny Porygon could still definitely pull off the endgame for us as well. So I don't think it was like, oh, we would have just hard lost this without the crit. But the crit was so game-changing because it put us in a position where, like, we probably shouldn't lose unless we throw. Although, like, he played really, really well, like, to put himself in a potentially winning position there in the end. So it's like, because Max Quake wouldn't have KO'd us. We'd still outspeed under Trick Room, right? And then the next turn, I could go just Max Flare into Gigas Tri-Attack into Weezing. Now, I don't think Tri-Attack KOs, but I do want to do the calc because I'm curious, especially if you have no, like, special defense investment. One thing that I actually did forget to mention during the course of the game is that the Porygon 2 is actually modest as well, and has a little bit of special attack investment. So if you actually look at the calc here against the most common Weezing spread, which is 244 HP, 4 special defense, max speed basically. This is Peakalytics right now, so you can see the spread right here. That's the most common one that players are using, and I personally really like max speed Weezing. Tri-Attack is actually a guaranteed KO from that range. The Weezing was at around, what, 30 to 35%? Let's say 35, round up. Yeah, this actually would have been a guaranteed KO. So against the most common Weezing spread, the fast Weezing spreads, this Tri-Attack would have actually ensured the knockout. I honestly did not imagine it doing this much damage, but yeah, Weezing's special defense is actually really, really mediocre compared to its defense stat, right? However, that's obviously not always going to be the Weezing spread, right? You see Calm 252 HP, 156 special defense is a spread. Calm 252 HP, 252 special defense is a spread as well. So if you look at just, Max, for example, and it's Calm, Tri-Attack there does 28 to 34%. Now, like I said, the Weezing looked like it was around like 30 to 35%. So in the Max case scenario, we either needed a really high roll or we just needed a crit outright. And now if you're the 156 special defense variant, then it's basically a damage roll. So I actually would have, yeah, I don't know because I don't know the Weezing spread, and it actually completely changes based off the Weezing spread. Either way, yeah, Tri-Attack actually doing as much damage without any boost is actually pretty impressive. Like, yeah, Porygon at the end of the day is base 105 special attack. I have -1 here, by the way, because it automatically gives you a download boost, so this just accounts for neutral Tri-Attack. And then Weezing, yeah, it's very dependent on the spread. So if they didn't actually... if he didn't have special defense investment there, the crit actually didn't matter. So that makes me feel a little bit better about the game plan that I executed. But at the end of the day, like, let's say they were actually max HP, max special defense, then I guess it's pretty unfortunate, right? We ran into max Steel Spike plus max HP, max special defense, and like that, if we were to lose because of that, like, I can't feel that bad because the game plan works most of the time. Then the question becomes, like, what is a better game plan? And I can't think of something off the top of my head immediately, so that's something I'd have to, like, sit and dwell on for a little bit longer. But either way, the thing about RNG is, in both, like, games 1 and game 2s, like, I wasn't sure whether or not it mattered. Like, for example, in this last game, I was 100% sure it actually mattered. And regardless of whether or not it actually makes a difference with the actual spread, sometimes your opponents might just think otherwise, right? And it might, like, tilt them, so you get a slight mental advantage just by getting any kind of RNG, even if it doesn't actually, like, impact the course of the game, or like, the specific, whether or not something would feint that turn, it certainly plays a big mental factor as well. So that's why it's important to, like, not tilt regardless of whether or not, any RNG comes your way. But it's easier said than done, obviously. But yeah, I thought I'd pull up the calc here because I was actually really curious and I learned something here as well. And the main takeaway is that Porygon's actually stronger than I expected it to be. So really would have come down to what the Weezing spread there was at the end of the day because we had modest Porygon. But let's jump into the third game today. Oh my gosh. It's another Weezing Gigas team. Okay. I mean, they don't have... Oh, they do have Coalossal. What am I even saying? Like, I feel like this is just the same game plan. Like, most Regis don't run Steel Spike, so I feel like this should work out more frequently than not. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Kartana can come out here. Like, you could... Okay, wait. Actually, let's not eliminate the option of it. Okay, wait. Low key, we actually could go Kartana Lando. Because then I could max Airstream EQ turn 1. And even if you protect, I get damage off, and then I get a free switch in. I actually think it could work here. But it's really... Actually, does it lose to Coalossal? Not necessarily, because of Landorus. I don't feel confident enough in that game mode, but I actually think it could work. Like, if Steel Spike isn't on Gigas here, it's actually just not bad for us at all. Right? Like, that was the problem in the last game. I'm just double checking how much HP the Weezing had in the last game. Because, and whether or not it was in KO range regardless of the crit. It was at around 40%. Yeah, so it really is dependent on the Weezing spread there. Okay, wait, Kartana Landorus. I was just talking about how I couldn't think of a good solution, but like it's actually a little bit interesting. Because Airstream EQ, right? They probably Hailstorm, but then I get to bring in... but then have... Like, I'm not outspeeding. Yeah, I don't think that really works that easily. Because even with the speed boost on Marowak, it's not like you outspeed Regigigas. Yeah, never mind. I don't think that works. It's just going to be the same play here. Fake out into Weezing and Trick Room here. I'm glad to play against this again, though, because I want to see how that last game could have played out if the crit didn't happen. Either way, though, it's very, like, some players run, like, max special defense Weezing. Other players run no special defense on Weezing, and that's actually what moves the needle a lot. Either way, it's still the same game plan here, because I still think it's probably our most consistent game plan, which is fake out Weezing, Trick Room, bring in the Marowak, and then max guard into Tri-Attack Flare the next turn. Because as long as Weezing, Gigas doesn't get 3 non-slow start max moves off, it's not that bad. Pretty good damage from Fake Out there. Wait, they're faster with Weezing? Whoa, okay. No Steel Spike here, which is also good. That implies that the Gigas is bulky. But that's also good news for us, because this means that we definitely should just KO the Weezing with relative ease. So this is kind of textbook. I think I'm just going to play it out the same way. Bring out Marowak. I mean, I guess the only tricky thing here is that they might not protect the Weezing. But it's not like you're going to KO Porygon anyway. So, like, I really don't mind just going max guard this turn and try attack onto Weezing. Go. It'd actually be really smart of them to just not protect Weezing this turn. Maybe it's correct to just target Weezing? I don't know. But if they go for the protect, like what happened in the last game, we're in really, really good shape. Especially if they go protect max Quake, like, which is what I'm hoping to read into here, we're going to be in really good shape. But because, like, this is a fairly obvious play on my end that I'm making, you could telegraph it pretty easily. But the fake out damage and the fact Weezing was faster here makes me think that they're not very bulky. Okay, perfect. Good, 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 good. Let's see. Once again, I could have Tri-Attacked into Regigigas here, but like I don't feel like it moves the needle that much. Yeah, they max Quick. Okay, great. Great. And this time there's no defense boost to worry about, so Flare into Tri-Attack is always... Well, we could Phantasm. What's my one fear? They switch out into Coalossal, but then I activate your speed, so then I can Quake you anyway. Yeah, I think it's fine to just Flare and try attack in this position. Into the Weezing. I think Weezing switching out here would actually be a really strong play on their end. Although, you would give me a download boost, and I'd probably pick up a KO, and then Regigigas' max is over, so, yeah. This is... I'm glad we get this game, because this is what I was trying to do in the last match, right? Now I feel more confident. The problem was the defense boost in that last game, and us not guaranteeing a KO into Weezing, even with Flare into try attack. Oh, that's a really good play on their end. Yeah. You always go for the double protect there. Oh, that's really, really rough for us. Okay. Nicely done. Great job to identify that was their best play. So, kudos. Because I think if they don't get the double there, we should just win the game off this. But very good to realize that they kind of have to go for it right now. That's a really, really... yeah, it's really key. But although, yeah, like, Marowak actually takes the max weight better than I would expect. Okay. We can still win this game, right? Like, this is far from over. We're actually not even in that bad of a position right now. How many turns of Trick Room are left? Still 2. I don't really care about Weezing. I would think Flare one-shots the Gigas here. So we could just actually KO Regigigas right now. But then, like, the good thing about having Gigas out on the field is that it just doesn't do much for my opponent, right? Okay, so maybe I'm still fine to just Flare Weezing and try attack it. Maybe they switch out here, though, which is why I was thinking of targeting Regigigas instead. If, like, they could switch out. Okay, they don't switch. And Gigas protects. Okay, nice, nice. This was a good turn for us. I can't even complain about that double protect, right? Like, we've gotten our fair share amount of luck today. See, that try attack did, like, what, 30-ish%? You know, yeah, so it looked like... Yeah, it's just so close. I don't know. I'm thinking it did matter in that last game. But it's once again, I mean, I say that, but it's actually completely dependent on the spread, and I don't know what the spread was in that last match. Okay, so Urshifu comes out now. We still have Trick Room up. Feeney's in the back. I think it's the same stuff, right? Rillaboom's going to be my opponent's last one here. And I think we should survive Aqua Jet right now. If you're my opponent, you know it's the last turn of Trick Room, so you'd probably protect the Urshifu, right? But ideally, I get a second Trick Room up in this match. If they have Rillaboom in the back, actually, this is still pretty tough. Like, the play I actually like making here is switching out into Tapu Fini. Well, I actually like this a lot. And try attack Urshifu. Because by conserving the... By bringing in Fini, Fini's not threatened by too much damage from both Urshifu and Regigigas right now, right? And they have... Oh, wow. Rillaboom coming in? That's... I could have just hard won the game by Flare Blitzing Gigas there. I really didn't think they'd make that play. It's kind of risky, but it pays off handsomely for them. The problem is if I just Flare Blitz KO Gigas and give them a free switch in a Rillaboom, I think I also faint from the recoil from Flare Blitz. So I got outplayed this turn. Like that's a really good switch. However, we at least like get rid of their terrain, which bodes well for us. So Porygon also got an attack boost rather than a special attack boost. I totally just... I know we've been memeing about me not recognizing which Urshifu form it was, and only now just realized. Yeah, obviously by the stance. I always double check because I've made mistakes before. Either way, I'm glad I made the switch there, but I was always making that switch regardless of Urshifu form. Trick Room's over now. This is so close. That was such a smart double protect. I don't know. I didn't have good counterplay to it, I guess, but... This is a little bit risky. I'm hoping they really try to deny Trick Room and go fake out close combat into Porygon. So let's see. Oh, Did they close combat or Wicked Blow? Okay, they did just go for close combat. Well, that's actually really frustrating though, because I could have just gotten Trick Room up if I just stayed in. I don't regret making that play though. Okay, I'm gonna Moonblast Urshifu here. I don't know who's faster between Rillaboom and here. I feel like I need to conserve Marowak if I want to win this game. So, switch it back out. But if Rillaboom's faster and it actually has Wood Hammer, you might just one-shot Tapu Fini here. Oh, they switch out, though! What? Oh, that's so good for us. Like, regardless of what they do here with Urshifu, that's really good for us. Okay. Either way, today is definitely not... All the games have not been, like, super clean on my end. Like, I could have played a lot better in them, I feel like. I don't know. Against the Gigas stuff, though, I really think this is our best game plan. Now we get a special attack boost, which is nice as well. Okay, they go for Detect. But, like, this is fine, right? Because, like, now your close combat doesn't KO me, and I have a special attack boost. I heal back from lefties. Sun fades. It's just that, like, your Gigas is kind of exposed right now, right? So, like, I can Moonblast into Urshifu and try attack into it right now. That's probably going to switch back out into Rillaboom. But that's fine. The main thing is that close combat from Urshifu isn't going to one-shot our Porygon too. Yeah, like, that's the main thing to note here. So even if you switch, you take so much damage, and Gigas isn't one-shotting either of our Pokemon with slow startup right now. Yep, there's a switch. We don't want to target Gigas right now, I think, just because, like, it's not an immediate threat. This is probably AB. Although last time we knocked out Rillaboom on the switching with the double up, but I had Shadow Bone that time around. This time it's just Moonblast and a +1 try attack. But Fini wins the game if Rillaboom goes down, correct? Try attack might actually KO here. I don't think that's a Solvest, actually. Oof. Close. They're going to just go for Giga Impact here, which is fine. Into Tapu Fini, and we survive. Yeah. Okay, I think this should win us the game. Oh, our Fini is faster than Rillaboom. Okay, that's really important information, because this means now that switching Fini out is basically a guaranteed win for us, right? Yeah, they have no late game damage into Fini, and by switching in Rillaboom, they took way too much damage there. So I could always switch Fini out into Marowak right now. I don't really need Marowak at this point in the game, and I can just go for a... do I want to try attack, actually? No. Sorry, we don't want to trip him. We just try attack. Because try attack KOs Rillaboom or Urshifu at this point. Yeah. And you're not going to beat Tapu Fini with Urshifu. You basically need Rillaboom to deal with Fini right now. So if I can eliminate Rillaboom, it's out of the way. And yep, they go for Glidon too. Okay, cool. That should secure us the game then. So this was a little bit intense because of the double protect, but I mean, this is why it's like, you know, if your opponent makes a play that's like involves any kind of RNG, you can't tilt, right? Like, it's very easy to be in that position and be like, oh, I would have just won the game if they didn't get a double protect off with Weezing. But that was absolutely the correct play for them to make, right? And it's like, if you don't go for it, you kind of just lose the game instantly. So from our end, it's like important to basically just not tilt off the face of the earth and, you know, try to still play our best. Okay, so Giga's just recharged. We have Tapu Fini in the back, so that alone should secure this up for us. I just want to make sure we guarantee the win right now. I don't necessarily want to set up Trick Room. I think I'm down to just Flare Blitz Urshifu here. And try attack Regigigas. I don't want to necessarily set up Trick Room because Regigigas will actually go first against us under Trick Room. I think it was smarter to double up on Urshifu. Hold on. Try attack on Gigas doesn't really do anything here. Because if we try attacked into Urshifu, this game was just instantly over right now. And now it's like, it gets a little bit more weird. Like, I still think, you know, there's not, like, we could have played this out a bunch of different ways and it wouldn't have mattered. My only fear of doubling up onto Urshifu there was an Urshifu Detect, right? And we have the special attack boost right now, so Try Attack actually does a good amount. And they actually commit Giga Impact here, which is good for us. Although now maybe Close Combat KOs Porygon. That would be really interesting. Yeah, I could have just hard won the game by targeting Urshifu there, but I think it's important to actually respect the option of it detecting. The fear now is if Close Combat actually one-shots Porygon. Huh. Yeah, I think I needed to slow down my play a little bit here, because we should have had a guaranteed win. No, but okay, let's say Urshifu protected, and I double up into it. Gigas can only not pick one KO there, right? Although if you just protect in high horsepower, but then I know you've protected. Yeah, I should have just doubled up on Urshifu, because it at least, like, essentially forces out the protect, right? I am going to Moonblast Urshifu here and recover. Yeah. But this is kind of like the last game where now Regigigas is actually ramping up. But even if we're at full HP, Giga Impact's not going to KO Porygon, I don't think. And there's the detect. Okay, so they went for it this time around. Yep. But the thing is, now I heal back with Porygon. So, like, this is the play I was trying to cover for last turn, but now it's fine because, like, Regigigas has to take another turn, right? And while Regigigas is scary, it's not one-shotting Porygon, too. But it is slowly, you know, stalling out his slow start turns, which is pretty scary. Okay. I wish the game would tell you how many turns of slow start are left. Either way, we're always going to Moonblast here into the Urshifu slot. I kind of like Moonblast and Recover here, just because they're probably going to close combat the Porygon. Yeah, I like that. They could go for a double on Urshifu right now. I think that's actually their only win condition. Yeah, there's nothing else that can really save them. But they protect Gigas. Okay, nice. Probably protect Gigas close combat Porygon, which is why I always wanted to recover in this spot. Yeah. Nice, and that was enough to survive. I don't know how I feel about how I played this game, though, to be honest. I don't really like it. Like, I feel like this endgame didn't need to be as scary as it was. And it started off with Marrow, like, not launching the Tri-Attack into the Urshifu slot. So if Urshifu had protected there, Gigas either Giga impacts Porygon, which is what they actually did, or they target the Marowak slot. But if you knock out Marowak, I get a free switch into Infinity, and you already committed to protect. So yeah, I think it was better to just have gone for damage. But at this point, Regigigas has taken so much that we just Moonblast Tri-Attack. So it's act us together, but I don't really mind at this point in the game. Yeah, we can just go Moonblast into Regigigas, because they take Life Orb Chip and Trick Room. Unless Moonblast, 2 Moonblast plus Life Orb isn't enough to KO Regigigas. That'd actually be pretty scary. That actually would be pretty scary. Yeah, hold up. I didn't think about that. Wait, why is their Gigas so slow? Well, it doesn't matter, right? Yeah. Okay, they target Feeny too, so Tri-Attack finishes it off now, but... This is definitely a bulkier Regigigas, especially because their Weezing outsped it too, right? So now Tri-Attack just finishes it off. Yeah. But... Well, this endgame was also like a little scarier than I would have liked it to be. Either way, I mean, hey, great day for Marowak, right? We didn't get to fully sweep with it per se, and we ended up going up against, yeah, 2 Regigigas combination teams. But I think Gigas is kind of underplayed right now, to be honest. Like, it does have a pretty big opportunity in the format. Either way, today was not the cleanest of episodes by any means. Like, all of the games, there was some RNG one way or the other. Game 2 was the main one, where I think like that crit on Weezing, you know, could have drastically changed things, depending on the spread. I'm curious on the spreads here. Okay, so their Gigas is 121. Their Weezing was Timid. Yeah, Timid, max HP, max speed. Yeah. Protect Sludge Bomb, Willow's Taunt. I don't know, given how little Tri-Attack did to this thing, I don't know, it did like 30, it did around, what, 40%, which is what the damage calc says. Aqua Jet, Dark Urshifu, which is pretty cool. Miracle Seed, Rillaboom, yep, not AV. How slow was the Rillaboom? 106, okay. Plus special defense, minus defense. Okay. And then weakness policy, Coalossal. Yeah. Today was interesting. I don't know. These last 2 games like show how if you like play to a game plan, things can work. Like the first 3 turns played out how I wanted it to. Yeah. Game 2 is just like because of the Steel Spike. I need to think like sit on it a little bit and think of a better game plan where we like can cover for Giga. It might be Kartana Landorus, honestly. I just don't think that's it because we don't outspeed with anything else. And it's like if they have Max Flare on Gigas, it's not that common, but that would be a disaster for us. Like we would instantly lose. So I gotta dwell on it a little bit more. Either way, though, those were some really fun teams that we went up against. Marowak certainly shined a lot, and as I mentioned, you know, this is just a really darn good, consistent team. Like, that's why I was able to get #1 on the ladder, both on Showdown and in-game. So, yeah, definitely try it out yourselves and go check it out. Details are in the description below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to answer the question of the day, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.